If you find yourself constantly struggling to motivate yourself or do things that you know are good for you, having the sufficient amount of motivation may only be a small part of the problem. In this video, we're going to talk about solving the bigger problem of building motivation, and the answer to that just might surprise you. I'm Dr. Shamsi. I'm a clinical psychologist, and in this video, I'll invite you to challenge everything you know about what it means to be a motivated person. So the story that we've been told about motivation is that it's something that we have to have in order to take action. And what we do with that is we usually wait to do something until we feel like it. Now, the problem with that is that we are actually hardwired to avoid things that are difficult, that are uncertain, and cause us to feel uncomfortable. And what that means is in some cases, we're going to be waiting forever. We tend to think of motivation like it's a form of currency that we can possess and own. And if we could just have enough of it, we could do everything we need to do. But the idea that motivation has to be a precursor to action is downright false. And people often blame themselves for not being motivated to do the things that they need to do. And that blame is entirely misplaced. A more helpful way to think about motivation is that it is the outcome of an action. Action generates motivation, and it's accrued from engagement in different tasks and our goals. This is something that's commonly understood by many psychotherapists and people that work with individuals who might have mental health challenges. We want to help you develop the behavioral activation that's necessary to improve your mood, to deal better with challenges, and to ultimately feel more motivated. Think about the last time that you did something that you didn't really want to do, but once you began doing it, you felt pretty good about it. That was because of this very principle in action. So a more helpful framing of motivation is that it's something that comes after we take action. It's the outcome of an action. So let's talk about some things that you can do to generate the momentum that you need to start to build motivation. But in order to build motivation, we have to first address the common reasons that we avoid doing things. We tend to resist big and overwhelming tasks. So we have to make starting tasks as easy as possible. Can you design a mini commitment? If it feels like too much to do something for an hour, could you do it for 10 minutes? What about 15? So if you're delaying or avoiding working or writing a report, can you work on writing a paragraph? How about a sentence? If you've been putting off cleaning the entire kitchen, can you commit to cleaning for 5 minutes? You can even practice this using what we call the 5-minute rule, where you set a timer and you do the task you're avoiding only for 5 minutes. And guess what happens when you're done with the 5 minutes? You can stop and go do something else, or you can keep going. The choice is yours. Another reason we avoid is that there's no clear start trigger. Imagine running a race without a starting line. How do you know when to begin running? How do you know where to begin running? You can work on this by developing some kind of a trigger or initiation cue that helps initiate the task. So perhaps you find something that you are willing to do and that it would be easy to do. What's the very first step that you can commit to that's part of a large project? If you're avoiding working on that report, maybe the first thing you can do or focus on committing to doing is just opening the document. Another reason that we avoid is we fear becoming frustrated and feeling incompetent. And this is often the natural reaction to doing things that are difficult. We're going to get stuck, we're going to encounter frustration, and we're going to make judgments about what that means for us. So in order to avoid the frustration, we end up avoiding the task. If you watched the last video in this series where I talked about building a plan for the day, one of the first things I encourage people to do is to plan to do something that you like doing, perhaps something that you're good at doing. That should really be the first thing that you put on your schedule, something you look forward to doing. This is because it's very important important for us as human beings to generate feelings of mastery, to feel positive about our efforts and commitment. And this is especially true if your goals are challenging. And then we need to establish that as a regular part of our routine. When we avoid doing this, we become much more prone to burnout. All right, so we've covered the main reasons why motivation can be challenging and why we fail to initiate tasks. I hope you're starting to see that you don't actually need motivation to take action. Once we begin to do the things that we need to be doing, even in small doses, the positive feedback that we get from engaging in those actions actually continues to compound and build over time. So let me know in the comments below, what do you do to break free of the motivation trap? And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.